Good morning. Welcome to Grandma's Nutritional Garden. Come take a stroll with me. It's early May, so it's a pretty clean slate, and I'm starting this video log just to kind of see how I progress throughout the year, maybe from year to year, and maybe at some point somebody else would like to see where I fail and where I succeed, and maybe it can help them. The first thing you notice is down these smaller bushes are blueberries. There are 3 blueberries there. That was the very first thing I put in my garden 12 years ago. The gigantic thing next to it is a carmine jewel cherry bush. And this thing has gotten massive. We expected it at most to be 8 foot tall. But I will say that it produces like crazy. If you want a very, very sour cherry, this one's for you because it puts out massive cherries, but they're very small and extremely sour, almost to the point of being inedible, unless you put an extremely large amount of sweetener in them. So not really the most nutritious cherry you can eat because all that sugar that you have to add with them is probably not worth it. The other thing wrong with them is that their roots send out these shoots. And they try to grow little cherries. Can you see the shoots that it's pulling out there? My problem is this cherry is located right next to my vegetable garden. So if you see, it's right on the edge. And I have a 50 by 50 tilled space that we vegetable garden in, and it sends out shoots all the way through the garden. So that's the biggest thing wrong with the carmine jewel cherry. Now we till this space because it's just easier for us, and we have corn that we like to move around in it, and because of the corn we really it just really works best because the corn takes up so much space that even if I wanted raised beds, I don't know how I would put them in. But some point in the future, maybe a few raised beds would be nice as I get older, right? So I don't have to get up and down so often. This little space over here is a little bit of a raised bed, and it's a no-till bed. We put some cardboard down and put some compost on top of that. And we just got our strawberries in 3 or 4 days ago. So they look pretty good, looking pretty good. So hopefully we have strawberries next year. Now I'm going to swing around and come on this way. Our garden is right in the middle of our pasture. I don't know, you may have seen. Let me scooch back over here. This is my view most of the time I'm working in my garden. It's beautiful and it's so serene and peaceful. It's one of the reasons I love to garden. My grandmother is the one who got me into gardening. She was a master gardener, and my garden is pretty good size, but hers was at least 3 times larger than my garden. And she was amazing, just amazing. And I sure wish that she had some kind of journal or something that shows, you know, what she did or what helped her, what didn't help her. Some of that stuff, I think that would just be amazing. So that's part of why I started this vlog, is so that I would have something like that and something more visual. I actually do a written journal, but I forget stuff. I just forget to write stuff down, or I go days without writing anything. So I was hoping this would help me out. Anyway, we've come over now to my grapevines, and I think the grapevines are stunning when they wake up from their slumber. And I don't know if you can see, but it already has the little grapes on it. So I'm excited. I'm really excited. This vine actually does really, really well. It produces tremendously well. And it's a Concord grape. And the one next to it is also a Concord grape. However, it doesn't produce near as well as the first one. So I think I find that interesting. And then on the end, we have the tickled pink. The tickled pink does not produce well at all. Of the 3, it's the worst producing, but the grapes taste like bubblegum. They are so amazing. I'm going to take a look right here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this with the shade, the shadow and everything, but there is a little grape there. Can you see that? So at least we'll have something. So I'm wondering too, because we're on an incline right here, and I'm wondering if maybe the one at the end just gets a little bit more water than the others, you know, maybe from the way the water runs down. But I just can't imagine that it would be that significant that that one on the end would do so much better. So I don't quite understand that. And if anybody who watches this has some suggestions, I'd be so happy to hear them. Okay, in this very grassy bed over here, I have a little bit of spinach. I have to pull some of those weeds out. But yeah, the spinach is kind of slow going this year. The rain is off and on and hard to get in here, but it is growing. Okay, I also have carrots in with the radishes. So you can see the radishes. I actually harvested a radish this morning, so they're starting to do really well. Then across from the radishes, I have some onion. They're kind of hard to see because they're still kind of little, but they are there. I have the one garlic, as you can see right here, the one garlic in the middle that I will let go. I also have a chive in the middle. That's what happens when you let them go to seed. And then up there, I have a bucket. Across the cardboard, I have a bucket that has mint in it. And next to that mint, that big mass of greenery, is oregano. And I'll be harvesting some oregano pretty soon and drying that out. Now over close to the oregano, I have these chives, and this one I do let flower because the bees absolutely love the flowers. But then I have this one that I harvest from, that I pull all of the blossoms off, or the little buds off as they come up. I mentioned my bucket of mint, and I plant them in buckets because mint is extremely invasive, and that way they don't spread all over my garden. I have two buckets, a choco mint, and this one is just a regular mint. And the choco mint my mommy gave me, and it's doing an amazing job. Okay, across from the garden is a little fenced-in space that has four blueberry bushes. These are 3 years old, and the first year I had them, they were severely eaten by rabbits. So we put some fencing in. The fencing goes down into the ground, so the rabbits have a harder time getting into the area. And what I have found is that blueberries are so amazingly resilient that as long as you have the acidic levels in the soil correct, they're very, very difficult for me to kill, which is interesting because I know other people have had issues growing blueberries in their area. And pretty much the only thing I do is I do mulch them, but I make sure the acid levels are very well established before we ever get the plants. Now this one right here is the newer one of these three older ones, and it's pretty loaded with flowers. You can kind of see that. The one in the middle it's such a great producer. It produces a little bit earlier than the others, so I don't know if you can see the ground. You can see a lot of petals. They've already lost their petals because, can you see the little small beginnings of cherry or blueberries in there? Yeah, there's quite a few. So they do really well. And we have a little bumblebee here that pollinates for us. And then we have this next bush, and it's kind of a mid. So about the time the middle bush ends up producing or stops producing, then this one takes over. So it's kind of nice. It extends our blueberry season a bit. Now we're going to walk right outside the gate. And outside the gate we have this pretty peach tree. Now, I'm an organic gardener, and I'm not certified organic, but I don't spray things. I don't put things in my soil that I don't want in my body. I'm a little particular about that. But that means that I haven't gotten peaches because the bugs love the peaches. So this year I'm going to try these little bags that you put over the peaches. Now it'll be interesting to see how I get up in the tree to cover those little peaches. My brother said he was going to help me with that, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. Something I was telling you about blueberries and the resilience of them. That first year that the bunnies ate those little 4 blueberries, I bought 2 more because I thought I was going to need them, because I thought I was going to lose at least 2 bushes, and I did not. Now, if you notice how small these are now in cages because for 3 years in a row, rabbits have either gotten to them, one of them got mowed, this one is the one that got mowed, or they were knocked over, broken by a dog. So they have been through a lot, and look at them. Just look at how amazing it is for them to come back. That just goes to show how important the soil is to create an environment that the blueberries enjoy. And you need to do that a minimum of 3 months before you get your blueberries, so that the soil has time to acclimate and you have time to get that those levels correct. Then I have this little apple tree over here. I had a producing gala apple, and it got knocked over in a storm and broke at the off where the rootstock was. So basically, we have this tree growing. It's an apple, but I have no idea what rootstock that was. So I have no idea what will come of that, if it'll even produce. But we're leaving it there. We'll see what happens. And then that little thing over there, that's the same age as the peach tree, probably 6 or 7 years old. And it has yet to give us a flower. It's a Honeycrisp apple. And I've just recently found that Honeycrisp apples are notoriously difficult to raise in Northwest Missouri. So here I am in Northwest Missouri with a beautiful tree that doesn't produce apples. But that's okay, I guess, right? Part of the learning process. So any of you out there in Northwest Missouri, think of something other than a Honeycrisp, even though those Honeycrisp apples are so, so good. Well, that's my garden. Thanks for taking a walk with me.